Hello everyone, and welcome back to Retro Nightmares. I can't believe it. It's been a whole year since I've done a video, and it feels good to be back. So, what game are we going to get into today? Well, this was one of my first PS1 games, as well as my very first introduction to the world of tabletop gaming. And it didn't do a very good job of doing it either. So, let's play Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. So there was a time in my life, and probably yours too, where I played a lot of trading card games. Yu-Gi-Oh! Being the first and most prominent one that I ever played. I even went on to win several tournaments. I got pretty good during my heyday. Now, the game has changed a lot since then. There's a lot of new things that make the game feel very foreign to me, but when I watch it played, at its core, it's still Yu-Gi-Oh! Which is more than I can say about this thing. So how does this game play? Well, after several hours with it, I still don't quite know myself. The game involves trying to fuse extremely weak monsters together to form moderately stronger monsters. Then, when you summon the monster, you pick a planetary symbol, which gives you an attack bonus against other monsters, if they happen to pick a symbol that's counteractive to yours. I never got to make a monster with more than 2100 attack power. It takes a lot of grinding and a lot of duels to actually make a decent deck to make some good creatures. It's just time I don't have. But enough talking about it. Let me show you. Uh-oh. So in this game you play as the Prince of Egypt, who loves to sneak out of the palace and play cards with the common folk. Ain't that special. You have your first duel with Simon, who allows you to leave as soon as you beat him. Because as everything should be, important decisions in this world are decided over a duel. A card duel, not a gun duel. That'd be a much better game. We get our first taste of the odd fusion system by receiving no tutorial whatsoever. You kinda just have to figure out that you can pre-select cards to try to fuse them. Not every card fuses with another though. The game is very specific on what two cards can make a monster, but the duels are easy enough that if you pull off something moderate, you've pretty much won. So how many fusions are there in the game exactly? Well here, let me show you. Just look at the size of this FAQ. There are literally thousands of these combinations. You'd think it'd be a little easier to make happen given the fact that the entire game is based around this mechanic. Another problem is that over half of these monsters are results from other fusions. Yeah, you can take fusion monsters on the field and set them up with monsters in your hand. In fact, there are some fusions I saw that are 5-step fusions. You can't possibly remember all this. I'm not the frickin' Rain Man here. We continue to the best of our abilities, dueling people of lesser skill until we come across one of the antagonists of the game, Kaiba. He defeats our friend in a duel, and we challenge him to avenge the loss. He accepts and we meet up later to have a duel. He will do one of two things. Completely suck, giving you an easy win, or he will summon a big monster out of the gate and maul you because you have no way to respond to it. So during our first duel, he does the latter, and I game over. Yes, game over, game over. If you lose one duel, you're done. Back to the beginning. You have to make sure you save every single time you win. There's a mechanic where you get cards from your opponent whenever you beat them, but it doesn't work the other way around, so instead of making you lose a card, I just make it game over instead. I guess they really want to make you look like an infallible prince who never loses. Come to think of it, that's the show. After you beat Kaiba, you start dueling random villagers. They're all pretty easy. They can pull some tough monsters every now and then, but it never becomes a problem, as long as you can get out your best friend in the world, the Queen of Autumn Leaves. Seriously, you will summon this monster more times than you can ever count. After my first loss to Kaiba, I did everything in my power to make sure I wouldn't game over again and have to start over. So I made sure I saved after every single win. And I also broke down and started using that FAQ I showed you earlier. Big problem in that, though. I can't make any of it! Every time I draw, I look at my hand and refer to the list for any combination I can possibly muster, but it just isn't happening. The cards you start with are a random bundle of completely crappy cards. and mainly seems to focus around the Queen's Double, which gives you the most of your stronger cards at the beginning. There are a few other fusions, but they often make monsters that just barely cut it. While not recording video, I even made a monster that came out weaker than one of the actual cards in the fusion. Seriously, did the prince just buy a $30 bundle of cards off of Craigslist? The planetary signs don't really help things along either. You'll never have a monster strong enough and have the planetary sign to deal with any monster that's completely shutting you down. I'm going insane here, trying to figure out how this game works. There's gotta be a playable game here somewhere. I know it! If only I could just... Wait a minute. That's the problem. My hair's not animu enough. Well, we can fix that. But I'm not gonna. Eventually, after you've dueled enough people, you go back to the palace where the High Priest attacks, using forbidden magic to terrorize the royal family. You try to escape, but you're encountered by this man. Yes! His name is Haishin, and he's here to deliver a can of soul-crushing heartache that 10 years of therapy could never cure. At this point, I'm just gonna sit back and let you watch the entirety of this duel, slightly sped up. Yeah, that was not pretty. Now, I understand the concept of a scripted boss fight. I am very, very familiar with it. But, that game tells me one thing. I'm supposed to get that good later. And with the cards I have now, I just don't see it. And quite frankly, I don't have the patience to see that through. The loss to Haishin is the one loss that doesn't result in a game over. And it continues, and you start to time travel to the future. Or dream, or something. I don't really care. The game can be playable, don't get me wrong, but you need a very special amount of patience to make it through. There's just so much to remember that the game comes off as a chore. It's no fun for me whatsoever. When the video games actually started reflecting the game itself, they were very fun. I played the crap out of the World Championship Series, and still do from time to time, just to satisfy that trading card game itch. But this game strays so far from what was fun about Yu-Gi-Oh! That I personally find it unplayable. Yeah, I know. I'm supposed to beat the game. You know what I have to say to that? Here. You play. Tell me how you like it. You gotta understand. If a game is annoying and has these terrible mechanics that are just hard to grasp and involve doing homework, I'm not gonna sit here all day and grind away at it. I'm trying to revive a show here. I can't bother myself with a game that requires more attention than a baby raptor. Quiet! Anyway, don't worry. This isn't the last you've seen of Yu-Gi-Oh! On my show. There's another game that strayed a little too far away from standardized dueling. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. It's good to be back. Dismissed! Thanks for watching, guys. Like I said, it's good to be back. It's been an endearing experience over the past year to receive comments and a few messages in my inbox saying, you know, how are you doing? When are you coming back? You know, it's been nice to know that there are a few people out there that still want to see me work, and to be honest, I want to see me work too. I'm not here to announce anything. I'm not here to promise anything. I'm certainly not announcing another Zilloween. Those always backfire. But I am here to say thank you for coming back. My release schedule is not going to be consistent, at least for a few months anyway. I'm at a weird point in my life where a huge weight has been lifted off, but at the same time, you know, it's sort of been put back on a little bit, and there's a lot of things racing through my mind right now, so don't expect a video too much, but they are there. I have 2 videos that are done and just need to be rendered and uploaded. So just keep a lookout for those over the coming months. It's good to be back, guys. Thank you. Stay tuned. Dismissed.